Hello, welcome to this brief tutorial on how to search for invoices that are not yet routed for approval or posted to the jobs using the AP Unapproved Invoice Status Form. As our AP team is often working 3 to 4 weeks behind on invoice routing, there can be a delay from the time an invoice is received from the vendor to the point that our project managers either see the invoice for approval or it has been posted to the job. Many times, our project teams need to locate an invoice for supporting documents relating to an extra work claim. In order to self-serve and find these invoices without having to ask accounts payable for assistance, this tutorial will show you how to use the AP Unapproved Invoice Status form to find those invoices. Let's get started. You'll find AP Unapproved Invoice Status in two locations. First, in Accounts Payable under Programs. Depending on your security access, you may see one or more programs. The other option is under Project Management. There is a folder set up called PM19 AP AR Reports. If you have this folder existing already, you will not see it because this program was just added to the folder. You can delete the folder, and then if you right click on Project Management and go New and re-add it, then you will see that program in your folder now. To open AP Unapproved Invoice Status form, you will see it as blank. There are 4 parameter fields here which we have to input one or more values in, and then the Fill Grid button will activate. First, it is important to understand how invoices are assigned in AP Unapproved. Every invoice is assigned to a reviewer group. Every project manager and/or department has a unique reviewer group. All projects in Vista are assigned to a default reviewer group, which the PM is assigned to within that project. Within each reviewer group, there can be one or more reviewers. Lastly, every reviewer group is also assigned a responsible person. For FMI, we have created an operations reviewer called 1OP. Once you understand this, how you search for unapproved invoices is simple. Most often, you are going to be searching for invoices for a particular project. Once you know which project that is, you will come in and enter the reviewer group for that project. If you're unsure of what the reviewer group code is, you may press the F4 key in reviewer group, and it will come up with a list of all of the various reviewer groups. At this point, we can populate the grid by clicking on the Fill Grid button. Right now, the Fill Grid is going to bring back all pending or unposted invoices, regardless of the status. So let's talk about the statuses for a minute. Review status. There are 3 different statuses of review for invoices. Rejected. These aren't necessarily rejected as to not pay, but they may be rejected by the current PM and has been sent back to AP to deal with. Then we have unapproved, which are invoices have not yet been approved by a reviewer. And then there are approved invoices, which have been looked at and approved by someone, but if they're on this list, that means that they have not been posted to the job yet. For invoice status, we have 2 statuses. Ready, which means AP has looked at it, they have done the initial coding, pulled in the packing slips, and it is likely sitting in the queue for the reviewer to review and approve. And not ready. These are the ones that AP has not looked at, has not completed the coding for, and are not viewable anywhere else. By default, when you open this form, all of these fields will be checked. You may deselect to filter your list further, however, it is not recommended. To further search for a particular invoice, say relating to a field PO, once this grid is populated, there is a filter bar here which will allow you to further filter the data that you are looking for. Most commonly, we might be looking for a PO. So in that case, we may use our wildcard, which is the asterisk, and start typing the PO number that we are looking for. And here, the list has filtered down to 2, and let's say this is the one that I was looking for. There are other ways that we can also look for information. If we knew that it was for this project, but it was for a particular vendor, we could come into this field and use again our asterisk, because you can see here that has the vendor number first and then the name. So we want to make sure that we use the asterisk, and then we can filter by the vendor name as well. Now, there are 2 ways that we can pull invoices out of the system. First, we want to make sure that our cursor is on the record that we want to retrieve the invoice for. The first way is to click on the attachment button. This will launch the attachment form, and we can double-click on this invoice to verify that it is indeed the invoice that we are looking for. At this point, we can export or we can print the documentation. If we were certain from this screen that this was the invoice that we wanted, we can click on the email button. An email will open in Outlook, and it will default to the email address of the reviewer name. So make sure that you make that change if you wanted to send it to yourself, or alternatively at this point you could take the PDF document and just drag and drop it into the project folder that you wanted. And that concludes this tutorial.